Hello everyone, it's Casey here. Just give me 1 minute. I'm just setting up my screen and my presentation, and then we'll get started. So tonight we're doing Clinic Portal, just going over a few hints and tips, and a few things. Can anyone hear me? I'm just going to double check. Someone can't hear me. Can anyone else hear me? Yep, seems to be okay. Okay, a few people. Yep, awesome. Thanks very much. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, give me 1 minute. I'm just going to set up the rest of this presentation. Then we'll get started. The things that we're going to go over tonight are our My Medicare check and assignment of benefit process. And I'm just going to check. This is being recorded. Excellent. Perfect. And then we've got a few other cool things in store a little bit later. So I'm not going to go over them tonight. Maybe next time we do Clinic Portal stuff. So a few cool tricks up our sleeve. Give me 1 second. Just rearranging this one thing and we'll get going. Okay, I think we're good to go. As always, this is recorded. Any questions, let me know. We'll put it in the chat or the Q&A. We do these sessions twice a month. So this is the last Wednesday of the month and then the second Wednesday of the month. In terms of what we cover, on the second Wednesday of the month, we cover the doctor portal. So that's like the AI scribe. Just a quick update on that. The thing that we're working on right now is two things. One is our My Health Record integration, which is going ahead, which is awesome. So we're nearly there. We're hoping in the next, let's say 2 to 8 weeks. So 2 weeks is super optimistic. 8 weeks is maybe a bit more realistic. We'll have that done. We're working through our conformance, security, things like that, which is great, which is perfect. We recently got our ISO 27001 certification, which is great. So that's helped out with that. The other thing is a CPD home. So we're progressing with an AMC application for the doctor portal to be registered as a CPD home. So if you are a doctor, anyone that's a doctor can use it as a CPD home where you can store all of your CPD. It's got a tracker in there at the moment, but it's going to turn into a fully fledged CPD home where you can keep track of everything and keep it all in there. So we're working on that. It's coming together really well. So tonight we're going to do the Clinic Portal, last Wednesday of the month, Clinic Portal. The two things that I'm going to go over is our My Medicare check and our enduring assignment of benefit workflow and process, which hopefully you'll find helpful. It does combine with our document sorter, so I'll talk a little bit about that as well. We've been working to bring upgrades to our whole Clinic Portal. So I'll give you a quick overview. There's two things that I'm not going to touch on that we're working on behind the scenes that we're nearly there to get out, which I think will be really exciting. So let me, without further ado, let me share my screen and we'll get on. If there's any questions about issues that you're having, troubleshooting, things like that, let us know. This is sort of like a help session as well. So always happy to answer questions, help out about anything. So it doesn't have to be about the things that we're chatting about tonight. Anything at all is super cool. Any issues, let us know. Let me make my screen full screen. Boom. Does that work? No. Boom. Okay. I went too far. Okay. So Clinic Portal, My Medicare, and waiting room. Would you believe I was putting this presentation together on Claude, and I thought, awesome. I'm going to put all these pictures and just say, Claude, can you just put a presentation about this? The problem with Claude is that sometimes it thinks really hard, and it's been trying to spin up a presentation for this for like 20 minutes, half an hour now. So I'm burning through all my tokens, and I just did my presentation anyway by myself. So whatever. If you're interested, I did do a presentation on Claude for clinicians. It's a very useful tool. It can be quite slow on some of the things, but anyway, that's fine. So this is what the clinic portal probably doesn't look like that on your own if you're using it, but this is what it's going to look like very shortly with the new update. So let me just move this so you can sort of see it. Yeah, put that there. Put a question in the chat and I'll come to it in a couple of slides. Excuse me. So what we've got, or what we're going to put in, is waiting room. So you can see in the top left-hand corner, we've got all the things that we've got. You can probably see the AI receptionist and the document sorter. Their plan is to expand it out to include quite a few more tools that are really useful, and have those tools integrated with, well, with each other, I suppose you would say. So what we mean by that is the vision is to have an integrated tool, right? Like an ecosystem that all talk to each other. Think about a care plan. You have a patient that comes in and they need a care plan, right? To get a care plan now, thanks government, the patient probably needs to be registered for mymedicare just to ensure that they don't go to another clinic and go in for a medical certificate and end up with a care plan, right? So you're probably going to register for them that. And now we've got the assignment of benefit process. You're probably going to think about doing some sort of enduring assignment of benefit. And if you're not doing an enduring assignment benefit, you will have to do an assignment of benefit for that day if you bulk bill, of course. If you private bill, no problems. So now all of a sudden, something that was probably straightforward, do a care plan for your regular patient, has now changed into something that needs multiple levels of compliance and checks and bureaucracy, unfortunately. So this is something that, we've all got to contend with, right? So what we thought is that there's a way that we can create like a, I suppose we just call it the waiting room, but you could almost call it like a daily command center or something like that. I should probably think of a cool name. But what it is the overview of all your patients coming through on that day, and you can see you can change it here in the top right-hand corner. Let me move this thing here again. You can change it to like, today, tomorrow, like a week from now or whatever, and you can sort it by doctors and you can sort it by patients. And it shows every single patient that's coming through on that day, all of their billing opportunities. So, and this is pulled from your PMS. We are integrated with BP, of course, working on integrations with MD, ZMed, MediRecords. So, working on these things, it all takes time. So we're working through those. And essentially what it does is it pulls the billing history. So we know when the next care plan review is due, when the health assessment is due, so on and so forth. And it displays it. My personal thought is that everyone in general practice, so I'm a practice owner, right? Everyone has a responsibility for revenue generation. Just because you're on the front desk or you're in the treatment room or the procedure room and you may not have a direct, maybe linked to revenue generation. We always think of doctors as the engines of revenue generation in a clinic. I think that's not true. I think everyone has a responsibility for revenue generation because it's a team approach. So obviously the receptionist can't build care plans, but they can definitely point it out and say these patients are due, or this is the review time, or let's book you in tomorrow, not today, because that's when the care plan review is due, and if you come in a day early we can't bill it. Things like that, right? So this is to give more visibility to that, to make it easier for everyone to be aware of when things are due. The other thing that this will be useful for in the context of, say, like a My Health Record integration is that we can clearly see like who's coming in, what vaccines they're due for, what preventative cares they're due for, and a few other things. So that's a little ways off. But that's the idea. Just make it really visible so we can see these things and know what's going on. I think that's a really safe way to practice medicine, right? If we don't know what's going on, it's really hard to treat a patient. So that's the idea behind that. So for the moment, billing opportunities, the time of appointment, and a few other cool things like that. In the doctor portal, so this is the clinic portal. In the doctor portal, we have a waiting room for each doctor, and that also displays the pre-consult. So you can see here we say pre-consult not sent. If there was a pre-consult that was sent, the patient filled it out, in the doctor portal, it would display it there. We've made a choice, and let me know what you think of this. So give me some feedback. We made a choice to just display the pre-consult to the doctor. This is this waiting room is viewable by your reception team, and of course, everyone in your practice should practice, discretion about these things. But we thought that the pre-consult, which could include, private medical information, should only be viewable to the doctor. So this will just say pre-consult sent or not sent, or answered or something like that, but it doesn't display the information. I think that's a good way. I think that's a good thing to do. Let me know your thoughts on that. We did have a thought of, say, displaying it for the nurses, so the nurses can get a free doctor portal. Their waiting room looks very similar to this in their doctor portal, and it shows every patient for every doctor and all their billing opportunities. And we thought maybe that would be okay to say put a pre-consult in there, because if the patient said, "I'm coming in with chest pain," the nurse might grab them, do the ECG. Maybe you're running 10 minutes late, so that the patient comes into you with an ECG, and you can assess the chest pain plus ECG and do it all together. And that might be an efficient way of doing things, and the nurse would know because they can see the pre-consult. We haven't progressed on that. Probably looking for some more feedback. Let me know in the chat. But this is the waiting room that the receptionist would see. This is mostly based on like administrative tasks, so billing opportunities that are available to be done and booked in for. MyMedicare checks. So does the patient have a MyMedicare registration with any clinic or anyone? This is displayed in this little it's like a little house, I suppose, like, because that's a whole idea, like a MyMedicare like home, I guess. So the grey means they're not registered at all. Green tick means that they are registered at your clinic. If you do want to see who they are registered to, because I know there are some issues around that, which is, I still haven't figured out why. My understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, was that if a patient was registered at a clinic, anyone in the clinic could do a care plan. What I think might be the issue is that in your Proga account under your organization register, all your patients, not all your patients, all your doctors need to be registered in there. If a doctor isn't registered in there, I think even if the patient is registered, they have the clinic, sometimes you can have issues with the care plan be billed by that doctor because that doctor is not associated with your clinic. Very much the same as the GP aged care incentive payment, where the patient has to be registered for MyMedicare and they have to select a specific doctor to be their, GP aged care incentive doctor. So that's my understanding of it. But anyway, back to this. So it'll show all the billing opportunities, all the patients coming in over all of the doctors. We've got our AI receptionist, so that's our inbound. So you call in, can I book an appointment? We've made some significant upgrades to that, so we're humming along with that to make it like a really useful GP specific tool, and working on outbound as well. Document sorter, so I'll talk a little bit more about that today because we've integrated that with our mymedicare approach. So we'll go through that in the next couple of slides, whereby essentially a patient can register for mymedicare and an enduring assignment benefit, and the document sorter will put those documents into their chart and also upload their registration into your clinic's Proda. So you don't have to re-enter information that the patient signed on a hard copy into your Proda, which is a real pain, takes a huge amount of time. Manage users. So this is getting an upgrade. I haven't talked about it today. It's more of a, admin thing. You'll be able to manage your team on there. So what that means is, one, you can invite other people to look at your clinic portal, but two, you'll be able to manage your doctor portal subscriptions. So you might have, 10 doctors in your clinic, and 5 of them might like to use MBSPro, the AI scribe. So you can buy 5 subscriptions and it'll give you like 5 seats to them all. Maybe a doctor leaves, so cancel that subscription, or a couple other doctors want to have a go, you add it on. So just make it a lot easier to sort of manage whole practices. Currently, we've got like a bit of a clunky system, isn't that great? Where we sort of do like a manual invoice, as in we literally give you an invoice with like bank account details on it. So it's not as streamlined as it could be. Anyway, we're getting there. And then on the squares here, I've got 2 cool things which I'll show you next time, maybe next time after. But some really useful tools. If you're interested to know what they are, reach out with email and I can do some demos, but we're sort of just leaving them like that for the moment. So that's that. This is the MyMedicare setup. So let me explain the whole sort of idea. To register with MyMedicare, a patient has to select your clinic as their MyMedicare clinic, and a doctor at that clinic. For us to be able to check those things, we need to register the portal, and that's doctor portal and clinic portal. If you want to use it across both, which you very very welcome to. This doesn't cost anything, so we can just register you. You put in some details. It's just included as part of the pack. Essentially, what it means is that we've got to put in your organization register. Now, we have some videos on this, And if you look in your settings section, there should be like a walkthrough. So you can see here in front of us, it's like step 1, step 2, step 3, blah, blah, blah. And there's like pictures and videos, so you can do it yourself. But essentially you need to log on to your product, you get your organization register site ID, and so it's organization ID and site ID plus your product RA number. And then you create a B2B device. I know that sort of sounds like what does all that mean? It's like a 2-minute thing. It's not too bad actually. And what that does is that turns on the My Medicare check. And then you complete this step 5, which is the enduring bulk billing agreement. So the enduring assignment of benefit. I'll get that name changed. I think enduring AOB makes sense. Essentially, what it means is that you can send a text to your patient to 1, sign up for My Medicare, 2, sign an enduring assignment of benefit. We will put that on their file and associate it with the patient's ID, meaning that we can display it as a patient assigned an enduring assignment benefit. You can put in an email, so that's where it sends a completed agreement to. So that could be like your practice manager's email, or whoever you want it to be. I would recommend put in the document sorter's email. So it'll just email it straight to the document sorter. The document sorter will put it straight into the patient's file. I think that is a good workflow. So it's completely paperless, no data entry, silly things like that. It's like an agent. It does its own thing and it works really well. So once you've completed those details, and again, happy to walk through this. I know this is like a slide. We've got videos. We've got the team members that'll link up with you and sort of tell you what's going on. So this is the waiting room, and this is, you can see that little. Let me put the mouse here. This little thing in the middle here. So we're hovering over this icon. It says My Medicare registered at another practice. Click to send SMS to register for My Medicare. So goes without saying, please only register your own regular patients. Don't register someone else just because they've come in for I don't know, the script or something like that. This process is meant to make the My Medicare registration process easier, not to make it easy so we can register everyone else's patients or something like that. Just meant to make it easier. So essentially, you'll see in your waiting room all your patients. They'll either have a green tick. So Drew Basher, these are all fake patients. Drew Basher has got a he's tick. He's registered My Medicare. This person, Liza Shearer, is not registered. She's registered at another clinic. So we can click on that little house button. It will send them a text. This little icon here is the time icon, as in to say patient's probably going to run on time. If it's got a little X, it says they'll probably run overtime. That little document means that they have completed their pre-consult, and this one means they have been sent their pre-consult. So it's red, it means they haven't even been sent the pre-consult. The pre-consult is the medical thing that they fill out. So it's an agent that talks to the patient and says, what are you coming in with? They're coming in for a script and the diabetes medications and bloods and whatever else. So that's what that looks like. And then you can click on the 3 little dots and it'll give you like a bit of a, what's this called? Like a list of things that you can do. So you can send them a pre-consult SMS. So that sends them the text to say, what are you coming in to see the doctor for? Chest pain, blah, blah, blah. The second thing is send them the bulk billing agreement SMS. Third is transfer to scene. So what that means is there's upcoming and seen. So upcoming is it's essentially just patients that are waiting to be seen, and then seen as patients who have been seen. So it's just sort of to split it up a bit. And then refresh My Medicare status. So that refresh just rechecks everyone again. So it's an automated check. You don't need to enter in details or anything, blah, blah, blah. It just checks. We pull it from the waiting room, appointment booking BP, does the checks and a few other things, and that's fine. The bulk billing agreement, though, that is not an automatic thing. We can make it automatic. We decided we didn't want to do that. Main reason is it just made the pre-consult very long, and so we've heard some feedback. The pre-consult is already pretty long, so we're reducing that and making it a bit better. So we've got that in the works. But to add a pre-consult where a patient might have talked about all the different things that are coming in, and then say, oh, can you sign this My Medicare and a during assignment benefit? We didn't want to do that, so we've split them up. So in the clinic portal, if the receptionists know the patients and know that they are regular, which is pretty easy to see because they've come in your clinic for years, you can say, hey, I'm just going to send you a text about this My Medicare. We'll get that sorted, and that's easy. So that's really useful. It then sends the patient a text, and the text looks pretty much exactly like this. So it's just a form that has their details. We know their details because we grab it from BP, so they don't need to re-enter anything. Those paper forms, they need to write in their Medicare number. Like, I don't even carry a wallet anymore. I have no idea what my Medicare number is. So who would even know? But we can just grab it, and they can check it, and then they have to sign. These questions are just straight from the government. Registering My Medicare is voluntary. Like, you haven't got a gun to their head, saying register for this program. They're doing it of their own free will. So tick, 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 and I think I've got it here. Yep, and then they need to sign. So it's just a digital signature. They can do it, with their finger or whatever. And essentially, and this might be something that you could even have on like an iPad, for example. So they could sign it. And then once they've signed it, there's a send button. So you can see it's been clicked down the bottom. So that I think I've got this in here twice. Oh wait, no, sorry. I don't have it in twice. This is the My Medicare form. Click send, sends it to our document sorter, which I'll show you in a second. And then this is the assignment of Medicare benefits for bulk bill. It's our assignment of benefit form. So this is the enduring agreement. This is based on the government template that they sent around. So if you haven't seen it, Service Australia just released a PDF. Who has got time to fill out PDFs? Ain't nobody got time for that. So let's digitize it and send it out. I think it makes sense to send it out with My Medicare. I don't know if there's a whole lot of purpose for signing up for Medicare outside of doing your care plans and enduring assignment of benefit. So we send them a text. We say that we're gonna, this is enduring assignment of benefit. It covers these services here. You can tick, tick, tick. Now, I do want to place a caveat on that, and that we're still getting information about the assignment of benefit process and the enduring assignment benefit. We're getting more information about whether this is tied to whether this is going to be actually tied physically to billing, as in if a patient has not had an assignment benefit, so they haven't signed it through, Automed or a booking platform, or an enduring assignment of benefit that is on record somewhere in BP because you bill through BP, whether that will stop you from actually doing the billings. That's what everyone was worried about with this whole process. That's all been delayed by 12 months, but we can do the enduring assignment benefit. So when a patient fills this out, they can tick it, make sure it makes sense. And then when they've signed it, it will send a couple of emails. So one, it'll send an email to the practice manager and say, we've signed this. You might keep these in an email somewhere, I suppose. Alternatively, you can send the email to the document sorter and we just put it in the patient's chart. Then we'll display in the waiting room that the patient has we've said here active bulk billing agreement. I think, feedback again, please, everyone. If I change it to has an enduring assignment of benefit, because I think that's the name that people know it by, so maybe like AOB. And then what that means is that we will display it there. So when the patient is in the waiting room, you can see that they're My Medicare registered, they've got the EAOB, they've done their pre-consult, so on and so forth. So I think and you know what, billing opportunities are available. I think that's a useful tool for reception nurses, doctors, everyone in a clinic. Let me know your thoughts. So this is what happens. This is the My Medicare registration form. It gets sent to the document sorter. So this probably looks familiar. This is just the document sorter tab. What will happen is this form will get recognized as a My Medicare form. So the document sorter has been programmed to recognize that form. It can, of course, sort any other document, specialist letter, blood test, blah, 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 whatever. It can do anything. But it's been programmed to specially recognize these forms. There will be a little box that appears when it's recognized that you tick, and it will upload this registration to your clinic's Proto account. So it'll put in the family name, Medicare number, date of birth, yada yada, and sign them up for My Medicare. So that's why we thought it was a process that made sense to put together and combine with the document sorter as a way to sort of putting it into the patient's chart. Let me know what you think of that. And then can't remember where I was going with this one. This is just the waiting room again to show you all those things. I think I was just saying this is available. I think this was meant to be at the start actually. So you can see it shows you all the billing opportunities, 10997s, so on and so forth, to make it easier for seeing exactly what a patient is eligible for, and if they're registered for My Medicare, which is this green tick here. So this is what it currently does, but putting in those other things for the enduring assignment benefit, etc. So that was the end of the presentation. I thought there was one other thing I was going to talk to you about. Document sorter we talked about. Can't remember. So we're pretty much at 8 o'clock now anyway. So let me see if there are any questions about that whole process. Yeah, sorry. Did I just do that whole presentation and no one could see anything? Did we see the presentation? I can run through it really quick. Okay. No. Okay. Okay. So you did see it? Okay. Sorry if you didn't. That was terrible. I should have checked the chat. Sorry. Any questions about that process? Does that make sense? Any thoughts, what could be better? Is that something that you would use? With this process, it's just included in our clinic portal. So it's not there, like you won't see it now, but it'll just be included as part of the clinic portal with our other tools that we have coming out, which I'll share with you next time, remember, so like special secrets. Um, okay, okay. Now we're all good. So with the subscription model, so just in terms of cost, so we've got the doctor portal, which is what like the doctors use with the upcoming My Health Record integration, a few things like that. And then we've got the clinic portal, which has its own subscription. So that has the document sorter, which is $1.99 a month, a few other cool tools, waiting room, etc. The waiting room is just included, the My Medicare is included, and the assignment of benefit process will likely be included. What we're going to do is combine and bundle a few of these tools together, and they'll be priced at like a per doctor per month price. So I'm not be able to see the split sign nor the search sign. Okay, let me show you a few other things in the doctor portal really, really quick. Um, Let me show you in the doctor portal because I know that we changed the UI. So what we'll do is we'll do a bundling together, which will let me see. I'm going to get you a not a pre-consult, past consult. I've got a past consult here. Yeah. So we'll bundle the tools together. So it'll be like a really cheap and efficient way of sort of using things. Now, there's a quick question there about the doctor portal. We have moved some things around. So the main reason why I've moved things around is because we've got this My Health Record integration coming. What we want to do is sort of rationalize our like the co-pilot space, so that space on the right-hand side, because we're going to be adding in clinical data. So you'll see there is a clinical tab. It just does care plan goals and the other thing it does, gosh, what is the other thing? Cycles of care. So it'll give you a few goals and it'll give you through cycles of care. What we're going to do is we're going to move smart goals. So these smart goals are additional smart goals. So we're going to move those up into like the care plan process. We've got a PDF filler coming shortly. So you'll be able to do like sending medical certificates and a few things like that. So let me just quickly show you what that looks like because it's quite good. And essentially, if you go create, this section will come like this. So you got create your documents, create your PDFs or custom documentation, your referrals, which we've sort of rejigged because I've got some feedback on that. So brief detail and sort of the way it looks, and then care plan. So care plan review, and we've got our find specialist here. So that's for the referrals. So we're rejigging it all. So this is in our test environment, so you can't see those things yet, but they're coming very soon. This is our test environment, not test environment, this is the real environment. In terms of the question was, how do I find a few things? We've tried to condense it all into this document edit action, like, search bar. The reason why we've got it in there is there's quite a few things and it was just like a ton of buttons. So if we just put it all in one, so this is where you can ask to do anything. So, you could say make more concise, or put in more information or whatever. So we've got a few like quick things. So you want to add pertinent negatives. This is the MBS code timestamp. So still keen on feedback for that. That's something that we're still working to get, perfect. You can regenerate the summary. You can reformat it. So if you want to put it in a different template format, you can now view the transcript. So essentially it'll pull up what's been said, like verbatim. So you can see exactly what has been said. That is an AI thing. And then personalizations. Now, this may not quite be active. We're still working on this. It seems to be a little bit tricky. But essentially, this will be a way that you can edit your note. So, for example, you might want to say, instead of saying, let's try to think. Let me see. There's nothing in this. This is a bad note that I use as a demonstration. But say you're super cool and you referred to pregnancies as just capital P. you could change that, and essentially what the AI scribe would recognize that you like to write a certain way. So you like to write, instead of background, you write B/G, or instead of myocardial infarct, you say MI, so on and so forth. So it'll learn those actions and it'll create these personalizations. So that's still coming. The notes that you edit will be learned from. So it doesn't learn from like patient data learn, it learns your edits. So when your edits are learnt, they can be auto applied in the future to make your note very customizable. And this is a great, really great and useful tool. So that is in there as well. Now let me just check these other questions because I don't want to miss any. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Any other questions about that or about the clinic portal, assignment of benefit, that sort of thing makes sense? Think we've mostly got it covered. So a few more changes are coming. So we're expecting that in the last half of this year, that there'll be quite a few more upgrades to both the doctor portal and clinic portal to make them really encompassing, holistic clinic tools. So we sort of call ourselves like an AI intelligence health layer. So we're sitting alongside your medical record, working in tandem with them, to just make the information in there easier and more, I guess the other word is interoperable. So seeing data for your patient from the hospital and their discharge summaries and the pharmacy summaries and blah 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 blah. So having all that information just a bit more available, a bit more easier to see and act upon, I think is awesome. So hopefully that makes sense. Any sort of questions, let us know. Otherwise, I'll stop sharing. We might pull up stumps. Any issues, this will get recorded, goes online, and we do these twice a month. So let us know. All right, easy. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll leave you to it, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye now.